Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Singh Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.
What to do at the Rock Island County Courthouse and making sure your pet is safe for the holidays in the cities. It was built before the turn of the century, the 20th century. It was a time when county courthouses were grand buildings. This was that courthouse, dedicated in 1897 at a cost of $112,000. The centerpiece, a copper dome towering 154 feet above the street. That dome didn't last long, removed less than 60 years later and never replaced. It's been a far less majestic building ever since. Fast forward to today, where a new $28 million courthouse is being built. That's 250 times more expensive, and there is no dome. As this building rises, the question remains, should the old courthouse be raised? And joining us are Rock Island County Board members Drew Mielke and Kai Swanson. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, the price is a little bit different, but I'm sure you're going to point out immediately that one of the things that was announced was that this is a new construction that is basically almost under budget and on time.
It is, and they reduced the floor. It's to save back money to raise the courthouse.
And so let's start there as well. What is the future of the old Rock Island County Courthouse?
Well, right now, the plans the Public Building Commission have laid out is they are asking the county board to consider deeding it over, and they will raise it. But it's $1.6 million that they have for this purpose. $350,000 would go to demolition of the building. $900,000, I understand, would go to the park, the Memorial Park, which is a very expensive park.
Well, I was going to say $350,000 for demolition doesn't seem that expensive.
No, it doesn't. And that building is very solid. Now, the roof might not be, but those blocks are. And but I'm just concerned about, we have another building, the county office building. $16 million renovation was said to be needed in 2013. To renovate the courthouse, I've seen figures of $11 million. I've seen other figures too. I've heard other figures, but that's a bona fide figure that I've gotten from the county. Why aren't we looking at both buildings? Because if we tear down the courthouse, that's done and over. But then we still have a building, the county office building, the former modern Woodman building, which is a beautiful building that could be sold for development. And I'm looking at saying, just look at this. Can we move our offices into the county courthouse and end up saving money and making money on the profit or the sale of the county office building for renovation for another purpose? Put it back on the tax rolls.
Well, Kai, how do you see the situation right now?
Well, I appreciate that, Jim, and I appreciate this opportunity to have a long-form discussion, because we try to encapsulate too much into a small space. It doesn't work. As with everything else related to the county, it seems one moving part affects many others, right? So as Drew and I are very proud of the fact that an increased emphasis on fiscal responsibility has us with a budget that appears to be relatively balanced. But that's missing one key component, and that's a reserve for depreciation. So if you look at it, the plans that Drew describes they're out of reach of the county because we have zero reserve for any kind of capital improvement. We don't have the wherewithal to do anything other than mothball the current courthouse and then hope things change over time. So when I came onto the board in 2015, I really wanted to find a way to make this practical. And what has happened is I've had conversations with county officials, with chamber officials, with developers, and we've gone from plan A to B to C. I think we're on about plan Q right now. And the fact of the matter is they're all good on paper, but they lack one thing, and that is fiscal wherewithal to get it done. And so I think an editorial that appeared in the Dispatch-Argus on Sunday was very sage advice. Let's set a time frame. And if we can't get this put together, we've been talking about it for years, if we can't get this put together shortly, let's take advantage of at least the $300,000, because yeah, we could probably get that together for demolition, but we have no money, whether it's $100,000 or $900,000, to create a green space, anything other than a wrecking ball site. It comes down to a little bit of like Occam's razor, right? If you take away everything that's implausible, what you're left with is the final point, and it's not one that I like. It would be great to restore the building to its original grandeur. I mean, I work at a place, Augustana College, that invests a lot of money in its historic structures. I think, and I'd like to hear Drew's take on this, I think the fate of this building was actually sealed about 50 years ago, when leaders at the time said, we will not have the revenues. We will step away from the revenues necessary to run the county and its facilities. And I think our charge as county board members in 2017, 2018 is to make sure we don't repeat those mistakes. When we look at the capital infrastructure of the county, of the Forest Preserve Commission, that we invest in those things so that a county board 50 years from now doesn't throw up its hands and say, well, we tried everything, but there's nothing we can do.
So, I mean, are you kind of insinuating that this building is worth saving and should be saved?
I think it is worthy of saving, but like I said, I'm not going to raise taxes, and so where's the money? He's absolutely right. But the jury is still out, and I think that we maybe, although he's right, we have been looking at this for, I don't know, 10 years now.
Umpteen years.
Many years,
Yeah.
but we have a lot of information.
Sure.
I just want to make sure that we're making the right decision, the full knowledge decision. There's plenty of studies, we don't need a new study, but I am actually going to entertain having a restoration group look at both buildings this week.
Well, then let me ask you this, and I'll start with you, Kai, is that I brought up the issue of a deadline, which is a debatable issue, and the deadline being imposed basically by the Chief Judge, Walter Broad, who says, federal government money is available now, you've got to do it by the end of the year. It's really forcing the county board's hands. Do you dispute that? And the other question is, do you like having your hand forced by the Chief Judge?
Well, I mean, there's two ways to look at that, right? I mean, we're a deliberative body made up of 25 persons. And I think Drew and I have argued in the past that that is an unwieldy body, and it actually prolongs decision making. So sometimes an external influence, like a deadline, can be helpful in prompting a decision to be made when there is not enough will to make that decision without the external pressure. So that's both a positive and a negative. Now, I think with the judge's comments, there could be room for the art of discourse. I mean, could we come up with a compromise where we're not leaving this as an open-ended question, but we are given one last chance? And I do want to stress, Drew has been diligent, others on the board have been diligent, I've been talking to anybody with ears. And yes, there's a lot of great ideas, but when the subject comes down to, but how do we pay for it?
Right.
Whether it's $500,000 or $5 million, the answer is we can't find that source. And in the absence of that source, I think we have to face reality and move forward.
Well, let me get back to that deadline.
Yes.
Do you feel like you're under a deadline by year's end or by the end of January?
No,
to come up with a concrete decision?
I think we would agree the deadline will be set by the board. The board has the ultimate legislative decision on making on this, and so that's appointed to us by the state constitution. So it is good to have those external impetuses, right? But in the end, the decision will be made by the county board.
That money, though, I want to clarify, $1.6 million, they're under budget because the plans originally had a 5th floor, or I guess a 4th floor. That floor has been removed, so they have that money there, but that's taxpayer money. That is not federal or state money. I mean, that's local, that's out of the bond money. So I want to make sure that money is spent correctly too. And just because you have money doesn't mean you should spend it on I'm concerned about this park. Why are we spending money on a park or talking about it? Let's make it look nice, of course, but that's a hefty value on that.
Well, and another source is if there's 1.6 million out there, anything we can save, again, this whole notion of budgeting for reserve for depreciation. Eventually roofs go out, eventually air conditioning, heating goes out. It's not a bad idea for the Public Building Commission to maintain a prudent reserve going down the road.
If there were federal money and state money, which I don't know if there are, but if there were, that would be good. Those are some of the things that we were looking at, and they're long shots, but they're still out there.
So the county board is going to be meeting next week. This is on the agenda. It was going to be on the agenda in November. It was pushed, sadly, because of the death of the Public Building Commission chairman. So what do you think is going to be happening in the coming week?
Well, at the committee of the whole, we're probably going to, like you said, kind of wrangle out a compromise, because I really think everyone needs
a compromise
in a time frame.
Okay,
in a time
because
frame.
either you tear it down or you don't.
No, that don't mean. No, I mean we have an ultimatum that says we have to make a decision next month. I don't like artificial emergencies.
Okay.
That's what I see it as, in my opinion. That's artificial emergency. I don't think a couple months or 3 months. I wouldn't take it out too long, but let's make sure we have discussion and discourse, like you said.
Artificial emergency?
Well, like I said, it's an external impetus, right? And sometimes those can be very, very, the holidays are coming, and I keep saying I'm going to do that diet. I can't stop the holidays from coming, Jim. I need to start the diet. You know what I mean? We all hate deadlines, but sometimes you have to make a decision.
So the next question would be, what do you prefer? I mean, do you personally prefer, it's well pointed out that it's a gateway into Rock Island, Centennial Bridge right there.
I have to tell you, when I came onto the board, I set as a personal mission for myself that we were going to save that and do to it what Augustana did with its old main, is restore that beautiful building to its grandeur, something we could all be proud of, including the dome, which doesn't need to be copper, it can be pressed plastic. Okay, so this was my dream, right? And then move everything out of the county office building and sell that to a developer, right? Because that's some surplus space, could potentially be. But really,
So move the office building into the courthouse.
That was the challenge I set for myself, Jim.
Right.
But I want you to just know, and I think a lot of people on the board can say the same thing. We, as individual members, have been diligent in one by one trying this, trying that, looking at this solution, looking at that solution. And the fact of the matter is, each one of those has fallen like a domino, and there's one domino that's still standing right now. And unfortunately, it's demolition.
Well, and Drew, let's point out the fact that you've got the county office building and City Hall that's right there, and the old police department, the new police department, the new courthouse and courthouse annex, and the old courthouse. That's a lot of property that is not on the tax rolls because it is publicly owned. Does that weigh on you that perhaps there is some movement that should be done to get some of this property back on the tax rolls?
And like that was a proposal earlier that you say is maybe off the table. Maybe it is. I'm not sure it is because, like I said, I have a restoration group, I won't name them, that me and this chairman, Moose Miranda, are going to go through both buildings today. You never know what might happen, and let's try it. I'm not saying we're going to get it done, but I'm going to do everything in my power. We are stewards of these buildings. Do everything in our power to not just to preserve it, because that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to serve the taxpayer the best.
Well, let's be honest. You know the city of Rock Island. I know you work for the county, but the city of Rock Island would not mind having a little added tax money coming in.
And this speaks to your earlier point, Jim. There is value to deadlines. We are talking with a lot of partners outside of the county, some at the state level, some federal, some private developers. We've got a lot of great ideas. I mean, there's some folks at the chamber who have great ideas, but without a deadline, we can continue to say, well, that might happen, or that might not happen. But if we were to say, no, we will make this decision by date certain, then those outside, they have, the deadline benefits them as well. It's time to fish or cut bait.
Well, let's be honest, the opening of the new annex, I believe September of next year.
December.
That also frees up some belief that, now we can do something.
Right.
Meaning you.
Yeah.
Let me talk about 2018 real quickly. Kai, let's start with you because, I mean, this has been a real transition area. You've lost your county administrator.
Yes.
But the budgeting, everything seems to be much smoother than it was 18 months ago. Yeah. The two questions is, what do you see for 2018 and what are you looking for as far as a new administrator is concerned?
In this case, let's learn the lessons of the past, right? Without an administrator, we never came in with a balanced budget. Things were always sort of jerry-rigged at the very last minute. The only reason we're able to come in with was about $56 in the black, I think, out of the entire budget this year, is because we had a professional sharpening the pencil 24/7. Again, that's a false balance of the budget because it has no reserve for depreciation or deferred maintenance. So what did we learn before? None of us knew Dave Ross before he came. We used a professional national search firm to vet candidates, to apprise them of the real challenge, and to bring the person who is willing to rise to that challenge here. I think we need to take that playbook back out, try to use that again this time and finding someone who is highly capable. If we learn a lesson from the past, maybe we compensate them a little better so we can hold on to them a little bit longer. You know, maybe we treat them a little bit better and listen to their ideas. But we learned a lot from our first county administrator, and I hope we apply those lessons moving forward.
Well, let's be honest, having a new county administrator, that would be a transition for the county anyhow. Whoever that person was, the next person, you've learned something from that, and the person after that, you just kind of continue along that continuum.
Yeah, it's like any new hire. You know, there's a honeymoon period, there's a break-in period, getting acquainted. I think we did really good. Dave Ross immediately stepped into the role and rolled, and he got so much done in a short period of time. The company we went through, we're going through them again. They're giving us discount because they've done a lot of the groundwork. So that's going to help a lot. They brought us 4 qualified candidates that we could never have gotten. We didn't have to it was a difficult decision to pick the right candidate, and maybe there were several right candidates. So we are going to do that again. That worked in our favor. That was the right decision. It's the right decision to do it again. Outside management firm to hire.
Let's talk fiscally for 2018. How do you see the coming year going? Obviously, the darkest of the days is done and the light at the end of the tunnel isn't necessarily another train coming at you.
Which is the product of an administrator, where we worked with one of the largest property owners in Rock Island County to get something that was a little bit more in line with what we thought it should be.
You're talking about Exelon and the Quad City Nuclear Power Plant.
Correct. And also at the state level, we ended up keeping that open. The county didn't do it, but believe me, we support it. 800 good jobs stayed here in the Quad Cities. And
so you see that as being a harbinger of a good year?
Absolutely, but I mean, again, we cannot take our eye off the ball. We are still in the danger zone, right? Any little thing could tip us the wrong way. So we need to be very acute when it comes to fiscal matters. We need to find new revenue. That has not ceased. I mean, we have the fortunate thing is this pension problem that you hear about a lot, that doesn't affect counties because we do, the basis that we do our pensions is a fixed contribution rather than a fixed benefit plan. That's what's getting everyone else in trouble. So that's not on the table. What is this massive backlog of capital facilities that need to be maintained, and so that it's not a wrecking ball crew all the time. And I think we can get there. Yeah, we're in a better position than we were a year ago, but have us back in a year and we'll see how we're doing.
I will.
Well, remember, county board members do not get pensions, and that was one of the things that I really want to remove. That was one of my goals, and we got that done. Yeah. Health benefits, we do not. County board members do not get that.
Which was all over the last year.
That's a reform.
That was all decided.
That was one of the reforms.
Yeah.
There was more reforms. One of the reforms we're going to look at eventually, when I say eventually, is 2020, is downsizing this board.
Waiting for the next census.
Get the right numbers because it's by representation.
Right.
Draw fair maps. My district has a little strip of water that connects it to part of Moline. Maybe we need to look at maps that serve the people, not a political outcome. I'm going to be a strong advocate of both.
That's the last word. Drew Mielke, Kai Swanson, both from the Rock Island County Board. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. I will hold you to that, and you know that.
You got it, Jim. Thank you.
We will see you again. In a moment, being pet smart for the holidays. But first, Laura Adams has a look at all of the holiday happenings you might enjoy when you go out and about.
This is Out and About for December 4th through 10th. Hi, I'm Laura Adams. Visit Lucia Nights in historic Bishop Hill on December 8th and 9th. The Swedish tradition is based on the legend of St. Lucia, Queen of Light. The Josh Duffy Orchestra, Muscatine Civil Chorale, and Muscatine Community College Jazz Choir perform A Christmas Cantata by Nils Lindberg at Wesley United Methodist Church in Muscatine on the 8th. Augustana College presents the holiday planetarium show Season of Light, December 9th through 15th. Reservations requested. Galesburg Community Chorus presents Joseph Haydn's Mass in Time of War at the First Lutheran Church in Galesburg on the 9th. While downtown Rock Island is the site for Gallery Hop, Fire and Ice, a winter festival featuring visual artists at different venues. The annual 'Tis the Season Senior Holiday Celebration is coming to the Quad Cities Waterfront Convention Center December 10th. Register online. While Ballet Quad Cities present the beloved Christmas ballet, The Nutcracker, December 9th and 10th at the Adler Theater. The Black Box Theater in downtown Moline present the musical The Putnam County Spelling Bee opening December 7th, and Circa 21 is the site for It's Fancy Nancy Splendiferous Christmas and Elf the Musical, and the Manny Lopez Band perform next door at the Speakeasy. Laugh your way through the holidays with comedy sports at the Establishment Theater, and the Quad City Wind Ensemble and Big River Brass Band present a holiday concert the 10th at Galvin Fine Arts Center. For more information, visit wqpt.org.
Thank you, Laura. Lojo Russo is heading to Minneapolis for a live recording next week at the Ice House on Nicollet Avenue. We caught up with her as she was performing at the River Music Experience in Davenport. Here's Lojo Russo and Outrage Us.
It's a quiet desperation, a generic kind of rage. Quaint anticipation like the turning of a page. It's a happy kind of madness, it's just so outrageous. Time slipping away. Ain't nobody listening if you got nothing to say. World keep spinning like a top. You can't make it go and you can never make it stop. No. Well, you can see the train wreck coming, but you just can't scream like the morbid fascination with a bad recurring dream. It's a happy kind of madness, if you know what I mean. Well, life is slipping away. Ain't nobody listening if you got nothing to say. World keeps spinning like a top. You can't make it go and you can't never make it stop, no. It's a crazy little story. It's funny 'cause it's true. If you're laughing with me, I must be laughing too. It's not always black and white. Sometimes it's crazy and blue. Say yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you wake up from the nightmare, put a smile on your face, so no one gets suspicious and ain't nothing out of place. It's a happy kind of madness, just so outrageous. Time slipping away. Ain't nobody listening if you got nothing to say. World keep spinning like a top. You can't make it go and you can never make it stop, no. Thank you very much.
That's Lojo Russo and Outrage Us. She'll be back at the RME at Falbo's Pizza for an acoustic set on Tuesday afternoon, December 19th. Well, you might be thinking of the perfect Christmas gift right now, perhaps a puppy, a kitten, a cat, or a dog crossed your mind, or maybe it's another pet that you're considering. And joining us is Samantha DeYoung with the Rock Island Animal Care and Control Center, along with your best friend of the day. And we're going to try to get a good picture of Scruffy.
Scruffy here.
Look at the camera, dog. Tell me a little bit about what you have going on right now at the Animal Control Center, because you have a lot of dogs and cats that are available.
We do. We have a great selection of animals to choose from. Adult dogs, a lot of adult dogs, which always make for a good pet. We have adult cats, a few kittens, definitely a lot to choose.
Well, we always talk about giving animals and pets during the holidays. I could see it be a good idea, but in a lot of cases, maybe somebody doesn't want it. You're forcing a pet on somebody. You really got to think through the process, right?
Owning a pet is a family commitment. It is a lifetime commitment for possibly you, possibly the pet. I don't believe that giving an animal for a holiday or a birthday is a great idea. Maybe it's a good plan to sit down and talk about it. Maybe what you could do is come in and do a gift certificate or write up a pretty little picture and say, I'll get you whatever you want, a cat or a dog. But make sure that everybody is on board 100% about owning a pet.
Well, let's see, the family is watching right now and they're saying Scruffy is the dog. We love the fact that the dog keeps its head under the glass table and has a chair of its own but doesn't want to necessarily sit in it. Tell me a little bit about Scruffy as well as some of the other dogs that you have.
All right, well, Scruffy came from another shelter that was overfilled, and we helped him out, took him from them, and he actually is heartworm positive, which isn't horrible. It can be treated. Our nonprofit really helps out a lot with us treating animals, so he'll be treated for heartworms. But we want to put him into the home and get it all taken care of.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like you said, if you monitor that, the condition is treatable.
It's definitely treatable.
What about the other things? If you already have a pet and you've got, you always hear about poinsettias and other Christmas decorations that could be a problem, tinsel even for cats.
Exactly.
Anything that Scruffy could get into, don't get into bad Christmas stuff. I mean, is it important to keep an eye on your house and what you're putting up as far as decorations are concerned?
Absolutely. Even when it isn't the holiday. I've recently lost my pet. My pet likes to eat everything. And it's tragic. It's a horrible feeling to know that something you didn't even think about could harm your pet. So definitely look into what you have in the house, into the trees, into the tree water, poinsettias, whichever it is. You definitely don't want to leave it accessible where the dog can knock the tree over.
That's very true.
Doesn't make for a great holiday.
Well, there's been new concerns also as far as dogs are concerned, as far as dog bones are concerned. I mean, people have been feeding dogs bones of some sort for millennia.
Right. Again, just know what you're feeding your animal. If it's you know what to get them and what not to get them. Maybe those special new treats. Look into where they're made, what's going on with them. So
you have ongoing fundraising efforts, and I know you have another one that's going on this week.
We do.
So tell me a little bit about that.
On Sunday, we have our Christmas open house. We'll have refreshments and treats, and all of our animals will be there. We offer our holiday calendar. It is awesome. They did a great job on it. So those will be available that day for sale. We'll have some special t-shirts that we're selling just for Christmas.
And the money raised goes to?
It goes to our nonprofit, which helps treat our animals. So so Scruffy here can get treated for heartworms.
And the other thing, of course, is donations of any type you welcome throughout the year, and not necessarily money. So tell me a little bit about what your real needs are at this time.
Definitely all year long, our needs are cat litter. We always need bleach. We like soft dog food just to give the dogs a little treat at the end of the day. We put it on top of their food. We like the soft canned food for the cats because we use it to give them supplements so that they're healthier cats.
Well, and one other thing that you need all the time are volunteers.
Definitely.
So tell me a little bit about that. I mean, what are you looking for, and what kind of a commitment does a person have to give?
What we're looking for is somebody to give the love to the animals. We spend a lot of our time, we're a small staff, but our staff spends a lot of the time doing the essentials, cleaning, medicating, feeding. They need the love. The animals need the love. They want the social interaction with the people. They want to walk. They want to be petted. So we're always looking for volunteers. We offer orientation about 6 times a year, and you have to attend an orientation. It's a great way for you and your family to come out and get some volunteering in.
Well, we got to get one more close-up of Scruffy as we close this out, because this is a dog that has just been at your side at all moments. It's a loving dog that just wants to find a family, not necessarily, well, as soon as possible, not necessarily for the holidays, but perhaps this is the time to start thinking about Scruffy as an addition to your family.
Great.
Sam DeYoung, thanks so much for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Rock Island County Animal Control Center. And WQPT is also ready to shower you in jewels. Yeah, you heard right. Tickets for our biggest fundraiser, Champagne on the Rocks, are on sale right now. And join us at the Davenport Outing Club Friday, January 26th for dinner, an auction, and a chance for you to win a fine piece of jewelry. Head to our website, WQPT.org, and see some of the items that could be yours. So we hope to see you at Champagne on the Rocks. It's January 26th at the Outing Club. On the air, on the radio, on the web, and on your mobile device. Thanks for taking some time to join us. We talk about the issues on the cities.
Public Affairs programming on WQPT is brought to you by the Sing Group at Merrill Lynch, serving the wealth management needs of clients in the region for over 25 years.